Today on the Unburden Your Business podcast, we're going to be talking about how to find your ideal client avatar. You may have heard this as your ICA, which I think is the new trendy word and the new trendy phase to talk about how to find your target audience. How do you figure out who it is that you want to work podcast, we're going to be talking about how to find your ideal client avatar. You may have heard this as your ICA, which I think is the new trendy word and the new trendy phase to talk about how to find your target audience. How do you figure out who it is that you want to work with in your business? Who it is that is the ideal person that you've dreamt about when you thought of this business and this product or service, and who it is that you want to interact with. So your ICA, your ideal client avatar, is going to be your target audience, your target market, but almost taking it and turning into a person's persona. Who are you selling this product to? What are the problems that they have? These are things that you need to figure out before you build your brand, before you build your marketing plan, before you go out and try to sell to people what it is that you offer. And what is the solution that you have to some of these problems that they have for the right person that's going to want to do business with you? The best way that I can think of this is think of either your most favorite person or your favorite client. If that person is calling your business and you see their name on the caller ID, that you run to the phone to pick it up because they're just a joy to work with. They understand what you do, or they're open to listening to it, or they are the person that has the exact problem that you know you can help solve and create that impact for them. And that, if you could take that client and times them by a certain number, you're going to be super successful. That is exactly who your ideal client avatar should be. How do you define that persona? How do you figure out what the story is behind it? How do you speak to them? How do you market to them? All of those things all starts with figuring out who that is. For example, in the insurance industry, is it someone who pays their bill on time? Is it somebody who makes a certain amount of money and they are at a certain level or place in their life where they're going to align with needing what you have to offer? Is it a man, a woman? Is it a certain demographic? Are they business owners? Do they need home and auto insurance? Are they in a certain life event that triggers them to need your product or service? Do they enjoy getting gifts? Are they higher energy, lower energy? Are they moms and dads? Do they have family? Do they work in particular industries? Do they have the same culture as you? Do you speak a certain language that they speak that they're going to want to do business with you? All of these questions and things are what you want to ask yourself when you're really trying to define and figure out who your ideal client is. The demographic, their geographic location. Are you working with people in your local community? Can you work with other states nationwide? Are you working worldwide with people? What does that look like? And you need to get very, very specific. It almost sounds silly that you need to kind of write out a story about this character, and it's almost a fictional character. You want to give them a name. We have names for our ideal clients in every single business that we have. If I ask my team right now, who is our ideal client in this business, they'll tell you an actual name. And we've created a whole story about this person, what they love to do, where do they travel or want to travel to, what aspirations do they have, what books do they read, what podcasts do they listen to, what TV shows do they like to consume, what do they like to eat, do they have kids, what ages, do they go to certain schools? Other characteristics can be, are they people who invest their money? Are they people who own property? Do they have certain values and beliefs? What is their favorite cocktail? And maybe if not a cocktail, what's their favorite coffee drink? Are they foodies? What type of vehicles do they drive? What kind of hobbies do they have? Where do they like to shop? What brands do they interact with and spend money on? Or any local organizations or things in your community that they might be a part of or that matter to them. These are all questions you want to ask as you're building the story about who your ideal client avatar is. These are the things that you have to do to find that kind of ideal person. And thinking also about two things. One is, what are the pain points that they have when they deal within your industry, when they have certain problems that you know your product and service can solve. What are those pain points? List them out. Write a story about how this individual who has a family and kids, who loves to travel to this location, who spends time outdoors and hiking, or, in this particular restaurant ordering these things, seems to have this problem, and it's caused by this, or came about because of this reason. And these are the things that are keeping them up at night. These are the things and thoughts that they're stressing out about, and that you can come in and hopefully solve. The other piece is thinking about the pleasure points. The pleasure points are going to be, what is the location? What's the place they want to get to after having this problem solved? So first we talked about the pain points, all that frustration and stress and all of the things that they're going through, the problem. And then if you were able to solve that problem for this person, what would the other side look like? Would they then have peace of mind? Would they then be able to save more time? Would they be able to save money? Would they be able to enjoy things a different way? Would they have this type of reality now after working with you and getting that problem solved? What does that look like? Because the reason this is so important is, if you do not know who you're speaking to, you're just speaking to no one. You're trying to put out this message in the world of who you are, what you do, and why it matters, and why people should work with you. And it's not cutting through the noise. It's not piercing them right in the spot where they're like, that's me. How did they know? I have to have this product or service. I have to work with this person. They know exactly what's going on with me. And they just told me that they can get me to the place that I've desired to get to. Such a different way to do business, such a different way to do marketing and branding, right? And if you can figure out who that person is and who you're speaking to, and go all in on it and stay consistent with all your messaging and all the things that you put out, you are going to be able to attract the people that you want to work with, build your business that way, have much more success, convert your sales, have referrals, have returning clients, and build this amazing thing that you almost might not even be able to control, because you did a really good job figuring out who your ideal client is, and then figuring out how to use that once you know who that is. So a couple things. You're going to want to identify their goals and their values. You're going to want to find sources of information that help you understand better who this person is. And sometimes that's even just, if you're already an established business owner, going and finding that perfect client and having a conversation with them, asking them, why did you choose to do business with me? How did you find me? What were the things you thought I solved for you? What were some things you were feeling before you worked with me? Don't be afraid to ask some of these questions and kind of survey an audience or the people that you already work with, that you love to work with. Finding out that information so that you can then create your ideal client avatar and that persona. Filling in the demographics and information and making sure you're giving them a name. You're really thinking about this person. If you have to, once you give them that name and you kind of create the story, put their name on the wall. Talk to everybody about who this person is and why you want to work with them and how to speak to this person, and making sure that they're at the forefront of everything that you're doing, because it's going to make a huge shift in your business and the way you show up. Then you're going to want to identify the challenges and the pain points. You're going to want to identify the pleasure points, and kind of think about the process of doing business with you and what some objections might come up. And also, what role does this individual have to play within the purchasing process? And how do you create that process to be catered to this individual and what is important to them, and make it as easy as possible to do business with you once they've already decided to do that. But thinking about this person and everything that you do, from your operations, from when you're starting to generate leads and your marketing and your branding, to having conversations with these clients and interacting with them, to getting them to work with your business, whether that's the packaging of your product, the delivery of it, the way you follow up, actually making sure that the product or service is solving them, their issue, what that client experience and journey looks like, even to how you do everything else as a leader and a business owner and with the team that you have in your business. So hopefully this piqued your interest in learning more about finding your ideal client avatar and thinking to yourself who that person might be and how you can get started on identifying who that is and using that as part of your branding, marketing, and operations strategy.